Story 1. The Most Beautiful Heart. One day, in a heavily crowded place, a young man began shouting, "People, look at me. I have the most beautiful heart in the world." Many people looked at him and were stunned to see his beautiful heart in a perfect shape, without any flaw. It looked quite amazing. Most of the people who saw his heart were mesmerized by the beauty of his heart and praised him. However, there came an old man who challenged the young man. "No, my son, I have got the most beautiful heart in the world." The young man asked him, "Then, show me your heart." The old man showed his heart to him. It was very rough, uneven, and had scars all over. In addition, the heart was also not in shape, it appeared like bits and pieces joined in various colors. There were some rough edges, some parts were removed and fitted with other pieces. The young man started laughing at him and said, "Oh, my dear old man, are you mad? See my heart, how beautiful and flawless it is. You cannot find even a bit of imperfection in my heart, and look at yours. It is full of scars, wounds, and blemishes. How can you even say that your heart is beautiful?" The old man said, "My dear boy, my heart is just as beautiful as yours. Can you notice these scars? Each scar has its own story, like it represents my love, which I always shared with every person. And when I share my love, in return I get a piece of heart too, which I fixed at my torn place of heart." The young man was now get shocked by old man's words. The old man continued, "Since the pieces of heart I shared were neither equal nor in the same shape or size, my heart is full of uneven edges and bits and pieces. My heart is not in shape because sometimes I do not get love in return from those to whom I gave it. Your heart that looks fresh and full with no scars indicates that you never shared love with anybody. Isn't that true?" The young man stood still and did not speak a single word. Tears rolled down his cheeks. He walked to the old man, tore a piece of his heart and gave the piece to the old man. Many give importance and respect to physical beauty. Yet, real beauty is not physical. Story 2. The Secret of Happiness. Once upon a time, there were three brothers named Samuel, Timothy, and Xander, who lived in a cottage by the woods. They were honest and hardworking. Every day, they would venture into the forest to fell wood. Later, they would sell it in the market where it would fetch a decent price. Thus, their life continued in this manner. However, the brothers were always sad and morose. Even though they lived a good life, they were unhappy. Each one hankered for something or the other and would pine for it. One day, while Samuel, Timothy, and Xander were returning home from the woods carrying their bundle of logs, they saw an old haggard woman who was bent low with a sack on her back. As they were kind and compassionate, the brothers immediately approached the poor woman and offered to carry the sack all the way to her home. She smiled and expressed her gratefulness while replying that the sack actually contained apples that she had collected in the forest. Samuel, Timothy, and Xander took turns in carrying the sack, and at last, when they reached the woman's home, they were very tired indeed. Now, this old woman was not an ordinary person and had magical powers. Pleased with the brothers' kind and selfless nature, she asked them whether there was anything she could help them with as a reward. Samuel instantly replied, "We are not happy, and that has become our greatest cause of concern." The woman asked what would make them happy. Each brother spoke of a different thing that would please him. Samuel said, "A splendid mansion with plenty of servants would make me happy. There is nothing more that I would want." Timothy said, "A big farm with lots of harvest would make me happy. Then I could be rich without having to worry." And at last Xander told his wish, "A beautiful wife would make me happy. Every day, after returning home, her sweet little face would light me up and make me forget my sorrows." "That is fine," said the old woman. "If these things will give you happiness, you deserve them, in every respect, for helping a poor helpless person like me. Go home, and each of you shall find exactly what you have wished for." This took the brothers by surprise, as they did not know about the woman's power. Nevertheless, they took leave and returned home. When they reached, they saw beside their cottage there was a huge mansion with a doorman and other servant waiting outside. They greeted Samuel and ushered him in. At some distance, a yellow farmland showed itself. A plowman came and announced that it belonged to Timothy. Timothy gasped. Just at that moment, a beautiful maiden approached Xander and coyly said that she was his wife. The brothers were beside themselves with joy at this new turn of events. They thanked their lucky stars and adapted to their new lifestyles. The days passed and soon a year was over. The situation was, however, now different for Samuel, Timothy, and Xander. Samuel had grown tired of owning the mansion. He became lazy and did not supervise his servants into taking proper care of the mansion. Timothy, who had built a decent house next to his farmland, found it burdensome to plow the fields and sow seeds from time to time. Xander, too, grew used to his beautiful wife and no longer found any joy in keeping her company. In short, all of them were unhappy again. One day, the three of them met up and decided to visit the old woman at her home. That woman has magical powers which turned our dreams into reality. However, since we are no longer happy, we must go and seek her help now. It is only she who will be able to tell us the secret to attaining happiness, said Samuel. When they came to the old woman, she was cooking stew in a pot. Greeting her, each of the brothers recounted how he had turned unhappy again. Please tell us how we can once more be happy, said Timothy. Old woman replied, well, it is all in your own hands. See, when each of you made his wish and it was granted, you were happy. However, happiness never lasts forever without a very important content. Earlier, since you were happy but never really content or satisfied, boredom and misery overcame you and you became sad again. Only if you learn to be content, can you truly enjoy the bliss of happiness. Samuel, Timothy, and Xander realized their mistake and went back home. They saw how lucky they were to have the gifts for which they had once craved. Samuel felt grateful for being the owner of a mansion, and began taking good care of it once again. Timothy began to plow his land diligently, so as to have a good harvest in time. Xander too learned to appreciate his pretty wife's chores in the house and her devotion towards him. Remembering that happiness and content went side by side, the brothers never again take their blessings for granted. And thus, they lived happily ever after. Story 3. You cannot please everyone. Bill, a 40-year-old man, was a cloth vendor. He used to sell different types of clothes in the nearby towns and villages. He used to carry the cloth bags on top of his donkey. One day, he took his 15-year-old son along with him to a nearby town. The donkey carried only 2 bags. All the clothes were sold. Both father and son were so happy. After having a huge business and lump sum profit, Bill was happily returning home with his son and his donkey. They were very tired and find it too hard to reach their place. All the 3 walked slowly on their way back to home. 2 men saw them very tired. They spoke to themselves. See them, they look very tired and exhausted. They have a donkey, why not? Any one of them can sit on that donkey. How fools they are! They feel difficult to walk and still don't use the donkey. The father and the son heard the 2 men having a conversation about them. Then the son asked his father to sit on the donkey. He agreed and sat on the donkey. After a few minutes, an old man saw Bill on top of the donkey and yelled at him, "Hey, look at your boy. He is so tired, and why are you sitting on the donkey? Let him sit on the donkey and you can walk." Bill made his son sit on the donkey and they continued their journey for a while. Another stranger shouted at Bill's son, "Hey, you are too young, can't you walk? You made your father walk behind you. Get down, now." Bill and his son was confused now and did not know what to do. They both decided to sit on the donkey. The donkey was unable to walk now, as he was carrying heavy weight on his back too. Another man saw them at a distance and rushed towards them. He shouted at Bill and his son, too, "Are you mad? How the donkey can carry you both? Can't you walk?" Why are you hurting this animal? Bill and the boy were so stunned and remained speechless for a while. It is not possible to please everyone. Everyone has got different views and opinions. It's too hard to please or follow everyone. Sometimes, we should go by what our mind says and simply follow our heart.